Okay, first things first, I've got a few things to discuss here actually. I don't do product placement, but that's there for a reason I'm coming to in a moment, perched on top of the tank. I might actually publish this video before I get all of today's rides on this machine on YouTube, because obviously they are longer and they take longer to upload, etc. I know that I've at least got one I've already published, possibly two by the time I've done all this. But anyway, I took a run up and over the Black Mountain and back home again, and then after that I took another ride up to Llanllwni or Llydiad Nenog, the pen top. Both rides of similar length, and in fact by the time I got home from that one I'd done 60 miles in total, but the clutch cable broke on the outward bound trip up to that one, and I had to ride all the way home with no clutch cable, which I managed okay. I wouldn't sort of want to do it, but managed to get back okay without too much hassle or drama. I knew that I had a spare clutch cable here, so I fitted that, and I will be able to repair the other one because the cable pulled out the nipple actually, so I'll be able to sort that out and resolder it, so I'll still have another spare cable. But by the time I got home, the bike had started to get a bit grouchy. Oh, and incidentally I also blasted a load of clutch and brake cleaner into the ignition switch and didn't seem to have any trouble from that one afterwards, but instead of that, here I have a broken clutch cable, Paul. So I had that, but on the way home, just the video, the camera actually stopped just shy of me getting home, but I think we got everything we needed to see and hear. Although I must say the sound, I noticed the sound has been bad lately, and that's another thing I'm coming to. And there's a train, so he'll probably blast his horn while I'm speaking in a moment. Anyway, the slight sort of sputtering and misfiring that I picked up on as we sort of came closer to the village, closer to home, it turned out that there was a bit of dirt in the carburetors, and all I had to do to sort that out was take the drain plugs, the little drain plugs out the bottom of the float chambers there, and let some dirt out, run a bit of petrol through. But when I started up, I noticed that at low revs we were only running on 2 cylinders and it was still misfiring and a bit lumpy. So there he goes. I took the points cover off and just literally just had a look. I didn't touch anything. I started the engine up again and looked in there. There was nothing arcing or sparking or doing anything unpleasant. So I took the spark plugs out, cleaned them, still no difference. And then finally I wound the tick over screw up on the throttle gantry so it would tick over on the 2 cylinders that were working properly. And I took this, I started turning this mixture screw and realised that it didn't do anything, whether I screwed it right in or right out. So I took it right out and used a piece of wire I've got that's just the right size to go through and rod out the pilot passageway. And then I also used this, and this fits perfectly. You can push it in a good way into where the pilot screw lives, probably push it in about more than an inch perhaps, and it'll come up to a dead stop, and then that's when you give it a nice blast. And with the engine running I could hear the revs changing a little bit. Put the mixture screw back in, and by the time I'd screwed it in about just 2 turns out, this cylinder started joining in again on tick over. I screwed it in to the fastest setting, which was about 1.5 turns out, as it should be, and then I just turned the whole throttle gantry adjustment screw down and got a nice steady tick over on 3 again. And since then I've been to the filling station and put another £11 worth in, so I got 64 miles in total, because I got to the filling station as well. I got 64 miles on £11 worth of fuel, if anyone's interested in that, and I think it was about £1.36 a litre down there. Another thing that I'm coming to, the rides that I took on this today and some recent rides on other machines, the sound hasn't come out quite as well as I'd hoped, although the sound comes through louder but not necessarily clearer, and that's because for the last few weeks my original camera finally seems to have thrown in the towel, and I'm using another one that belongs to my son that's very similar, same make, but it's slightly different in its capabilities and some of the settings. And just today I've turned on the there's a little feature, I turned it on a long time ago on my other camera to cut down wind noise on the microphone, so I'm hoping next time we go out we might hear this Trident a lot more clearly. And as hopefully we already know, I've quietened this down because I know it doesn't bother me, but it seems to irritate some of my viewers. So hopefully, I've postponed my ride up to the dam today. It's time to think about what we're going to have for our evening meal and get cleaned up a little bit. So after all this work, that unexpected work that I did on this bike today, but if the weather holds, I'm hoping to do that tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have better sound quality, and the Trident should be running nicely again. And like I say, we've got an operational clutch once more, which is nice to have.